Good morning. Welcome to Chalice Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community of diverse beliefs and experiences, nurturing the liberal religious spirit and united by our desire to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey, you are welcome here. Whether you gather with us every Sunday, once or twice a year, or are with us this morning for the first time, we're glad you are here. I'm Reverend Sharon Wiley, Chalice's minister. Our worship musician this morning is our music director, Tim McKnight. Welcome to this online worship service. Welcome to those of you watching live using Zoom Sunday morning, and welcome to those of you watching the recording of this service later on Chalice's YouTube channel. For those of us using Zoom, please notice on your menu that there's a button that says CC live transcript, or maybe it just says live transcript. This is Zoom's closed captioning service, and you can click on it to hide the subtitle or show the subtitle as you choose. You're in control of whether that's on or off. Also on your menu is the chat button. For those of you who like to use the chat box during the service, which you're welcome to do, and people are greeting each other this morning, please be sure that when you post, you use that little blue drop-down menu to select panelists and attendees. If you only post to panelists, it only comes to me, and I might not see it during the service. We like to use the chat so everyone can see all of the posts. So good morning. Give yourself a big hug of hello and welcome. If you share space with someone else, maybe give them a hug too. Sometimes we forget. It's good to be together this morning. I want to especially welcome those of you who are newcomers at Chalice. Towards the end of the service, I'll put a link in the chat box for adding your name to our email list. Our weekly email is the best way to get information about the many online groups and activities we're offering using Zoom. And once you're on our email list, you'll receive information about our monthly gathering for newcomers, and that will give you a chance to meet some new people. Now, let's take a breath together.
We acknowledge that our service is taking place on the stolen territory of the Kumeyaay, meaning humans or people, and the Payamkawishim, meaning Western people. A land acknowledgement works to undo the intentional erasure of Indigenous people and to support the resilience and strength that all Indigenous people have shown. We acknowledge the original inhabitants as a first and critical step toward learning and working with Indigenous communities to secure meaningful partnership and inclusion in the stewardship and protection of their cultural resources and sacred homeland.
Now we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. Ooh, and I'm gonna move that so you can see our chalice. The flaming chalice was first used during World War II by the Unitarian Service Committee as a symbol of life-saving refuge for people fleeing persecution in Europe. May our chalice flame burn brightly, that all who are seeking may find us. Today is our annual Adoration Sunday service, a time of gratitude for and celebration of life's many gifts and blessings. Our call to worship comes from the Reverend Allison Wohler. With thankful hearts, we have come together this morning to celebrate the bounty of the day, to bask in the warmth of this community, to share with friends the tides of our lives, to entertain perennially our hopes for a better future. We join together this morning, as always, to resist injustice and inequality wherever they may be found. Our hearts are touched by the human need we feel around us, whether far away or within reach of our hand. We come here to be together because this is how we believe our lives are best lived, in questioning and in conversation, in compassion and in service, in gratitude and in joy, in companionship and in love. It is good to be together with you this morning. You're invited to join in singing. Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to the congregation during this time by sharing our joys and sorrows. If you'd like to share a joy or sorrow with the congregation this morning, now is the time for sharing these in the chat box. They won't be spoken out loud. If you would like to send me a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, or to make a prayer request, or to meet with me, please email me. I'll put my email address in the chat box. You can also phone for those of you who have a Chalice directory.
I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul.
Our story is called Here We Are, Notes for Living on Planet Earth, written and illustrated by Oliver Jeffers. Well, hello. Welcome to this planet. We call it Earth. It is the big globe floating in space on which we live. We're glad you found us, as space is very big. There is much to see and do here on Earth, so let's get started with a quick tour. The planet is basically made up of two parts. Firstly, let's talk about the land. It's what we are standing on right now. We know lots about the land. Then there is the sea, which is full of wonderful things. We know a bit about the sea, but we'll talk some more about that once you've learned to swim. There is also the sky, though that can get pretty complicated. Okay, moving on. On our planet, there are people. One people is a person. You are a person. You have a body. Look after it, as most bits don't grow back. The most important things for people to remember are to eat, drink, and stay warm. People come in many shapes, sizes, and colors. We may all look different, act different, and sound different. But don't be fooled. We are all people. There are animals too. They come in even more shapes, sizes, and colors. They can't speak, though that's no reason not to be nice to them. You may not be able to speak yet either, even though your head is filled with questions. Be patient. You'll learn how to use words soon enough. Generally, how it works is that when the sun is out, it is daytime, and we do stuff. The rest of the time is night when it is dark, save for the moon, and we sleep. Please? Things can sometimes move slowly here on Earth. More often, though, they move quickly, so use your time well. It will be gone before you know it. Though we have come a long way, we haven't quite worked everything out, so there is plenty left for you to do. You will figure lots of things out for yourself. Just remember to leave notes for everyone else. It looks big, Earth, but there are lots of us on here. 7,327,450,667 and counting. So, be kind. There is enough for everyone. Well, that is planet Earth. Make sure you look after it, as it's all we've got. Now, if you need to know anything else, just ask. I won't be far away. And when I'm not around, you can always ask someone else. You're never alone on Earth. Today is our 7th annual observation of what I call Adoration Sunday. It is our way of celebrating the pagan holiday we would normally see it called, Americans would look at it and pronounce it Beltane, but it's a Gaelic word. And so I've been taught to pronounce it Bealtaine, which is probably unrecognizable compared to how it's spelled. It's also called May Day. It is the cross-quarter day between spring equinox and summer solstice, and it's observed around May 1st. Bealtaine is a time of great celebration. Spring is well underway and new life abounds. Bealtaine is often celebrated with a great bonfire. This seems an appropriate time of year for us to celebrate what is good in the world with expressions of joy and beauty and love. Remembering and celebrating what is good in the world has gotten us through the past year, hasn't it? Celebrating, finding our gratitude, these are the practices that see us through difficult times. Joy, laughter, time with friends and family, these things aren't just a break from everyday life. They are important strategies for sustaining ourselves. We need joy, laughter, beauty, time with friends and family, even if that time is on Zoom or a telephone call instead of sitting around a dining room table. The words I share this day about adoration are the same ones I share each year, part of our tradition. The word adore comes from Latin and French words that mean to pray and to worship. Adoration in other times and places has included kissing hands, kissing knees or feet, bowing or kneeling, kissing the ground. We know the famous image in art, the Adoration of the Magi. Depictions of the 3 wise men come to honor the newborn baby Jesus. They adore him with offerings of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. The Christian tradition also observes a practice called the Eucharistic adoration, wherein the sacred bread of the communion ritual is revered, and those in its presence understand themselves to be in the presence of God. A side note, you can go onto YouTube and search for Adoration, and there are live streaming images of the Eucharistic bread, and people pray live online and observe and adore that way these days. The use of the word adoration in religious context lifts up what is particular about this word. When we feel that exuberant joy, when we love with abandon, we feel ourselves connected with all the beauty and wonder of the world around us. The Magi saw the baby and knew themselves in the presence of God. Christians see the Eucharistic bread and know themselves in the presence of God. We might not all embrace the same idea of God or agree that there is a God, but we do sometimes see a baby or other loved one, a pet, and know ourselves to be part of a profound interconnectedness. And in that moment, we feel our small place in something so much larger and grander than just us. That connection is what many of us recognize as sacred. Adoration is the most excessive expression of love. Today, we come together in celebration of all that is beautiful and wonderful in being alive. We come together in praise, in joy, in love, and with gratitude. We come together to let ourselves love exuberantly and unabashedly, and to feel ourselves as part of the interdependent web of all existence. Of course, there will be those among us who can't tap into that feeling of joy and wonder of being alive today, and I'm glad you are here. We are all carrying still grief and anger, confusion and fear. Of course we are. What helps us overcome our grief, our anger, confusion, and fear, what keeps us going is love. That's what we're celebrating today. These words come from the Reverend Chris Jimerson. In moonlit shadows, at the edge of night-darkened oak trees, I see it. Across sunny pathways, in the buzzing of insects amongst the flowering forest greenery, I hear it. From the touch of one's loved, the embrace of those gone before me, I feel it. In the poems I love dearly, the songs that speak to my heart, the sculpture that catches my imagination, the discoveries still to be made, I sense it. It is in the fire of distant suns, the cool drip of waters, the slight chill in the breeze, the laughter of children, no matter what their age, old and young, grown and still small. It is the breath of life, the stardust of souls, the magic of remembrance. Who am I not to surrender to it in gratitude? Who am I not to be blessed? Now comes our time for sharing. We adore people in our lives, children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews. We adore foods, avocados, cakes, and chocolates. We adore places, lakes and oceans, mountains and canyons. Today, leave hurt and cynicism and embarrassment behind. Let yourself be exuberant. Let yourself be joyful. Let yourself see the beauty of the world around you and know yourself in the presence of something greater than just yourself. More loving, more joyful, more life-centered, more interconnected than you can know or understand. You are invited to share your adoration in the chat box. Keep your eyes on the screen for the reflection question. Our first question, what foods do you adore?
hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Make channels for the streams of love where they may broadly run, and love has overflowing streams to fill them everyone. But if at any time we seize such channels to provide, the very fountains of love for us will soon be parched and dried. For we must share if we would keep this gift of else above. We cease to give, we cease to have, such is the love, love.
The Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregational life possible. As Buddhist teacher Sharon Salzberg writes, generosity is characterized by the inner quality of letting go or relinquishing, being able to let go, to give up, to renounce, to give generously. These capacities spring from the same source within us. When we practice generosity, we open to all of these liberating qualities simultaneously. Please text your donation to Chalice. If you haven't texted a donation before, know that once you text the amount, the numbers, you'll get a reply with a link to follow to enter your credit card information. And once you've entered that information once, when you've donated, you won't need to enter it again for subsequent donations. If your Sunday donation is part of your pledge payment, please be sure to indicate the word pledge after the dollar amount. And also know that you can make a text donation anytime. It doesn't need to be just during the worship service. The phone number will be on screen in a moment, and I'll also put it in the chat box. Please give generously. Please join in dedicating our offering with words of affirmation. Open hearts, open minds, open doors, nurturing spirits, seeking justice within the wider world. This is our mission.
They bark and meow, they run and they sleep, they scamper and jump and they lie on the couch, they nicker and neigh, they slither and creep, they pounce and they scurry, they crawl and they crouch. The creatures we love are a sacred delight, with eyes that are bright and with tongues that are rough. They brighten our days and they wake us at night. Our praises we sing for the creatures we love. With fins and with fangs, with feathers and fur, they rest in their cages and swim in their tanks. Each squeak and each squawk, each judder and purr joins in with creation in offering thanks. The creatures we love bring us wonder and joy. They help us get through when the going is tough. They open our hearts even when they annoy. Our praises we sing for the creatures we love. They leap from the chair, they prowl in the woods, they knead and they cuddle, they snuggle and sigh. The essence of proof creation is good, a blessing we cherish for all of our lives. The creatures we
in your darkest moments, on your hardest days. I hope you will remember this service, this time. Remember that there are foods you love to eat, places you love to be, people you love to be with. May the memory of all that is good in life hearten us when times are hard. Our closing words come from Reverend David Breeden. May you live life curious. May you rejoice in the process. May you let go of the rage for control. May you feel the flame and live well. May you every day reimagine reality's map. May you keep exploring even the dark places. May you rejoice in the unknown. May you hug uncertainty to you tight. May you live life joyous. May you find the miraculous. May you continuously find gratitude. May you love the messiness. May you love yourself. May you love all you love well and well. May it be so. Blessed be. You're invited to close our time together by singing the well, and afterwards everyone is invited to coffee hour.